How did we get here, y'all? How did we get here? How did we get to a place where R. Kelly is convicted? He shouldn't have been convicted, y'all. This was a winnable case. Every time I think about it, I get pissed off because I'm like, how the fuck is R. Kelly sitting in jail as a convicted man right now? How? Geronda Pace is a fucking liar. We all know that. Azriel is a fucking liar. We all know that. They gave conflicting statements on the stand. We all read the transcripts. So, how is it that R. Kelly is a convicted man? Was the jury paid off? Was the jury filled with federal agents disguising themselves as regular citizens, and were they told to just go on and convict R. Kelly? Is that what happened? Because they only acquitted him on Jane Doe number 3. Jane Doe number 3 was a Sonia chick who said that she was in trying to interview R. Kelly, and she was in the studio for 3 days, and he held her against his entourage, and then they gave her Chinese food. She felt drugged, and then when she woke up, R. Kelly was zipping up his pants, and she gave him a hug. That's the Jane Doe number 3, Sonia. They acquitted him on everything related to Sonia. So my thing is, if they didn't believe Sonia, how can they believe these other chicks? How can they believe these other chicks? All of them were fucking lying. Too many inconsistent statements, especially with Geronda Pace and Azriel. How the fuck can this happen? I think the jury was paid off, and I also think maybe Kanik was paid off. Mr. Kanik, now we find out I stupidly praised him for that closing statement, but now I find out R. Kelly gave him $275,000 and told him to bring in whatever witnesses he could to testify on his behalf, and the man only called 5 witnesses, while the prosecution had 45 witnesses. He should have called a lot of witnesses, mainly women, to come up there and say R. Kelly is a good fucking guy. I had sex with R. Kelly and he treated me well. R. Kelly paid for this. R. Kelly paid for that. R. Kelly was a gentleman. That what was needed. Even if you had to pay women to come up there. Now pay an actress to come up there and say she had sex with R. Kelly and everything went well. Even if you had to pay women to come up there and lie and say they had sex with R. Kelly and they were in relationships with him, and they enjoyed themselves and everything was consensual and he's a great guy. Even if you had to pay him, they should have been on that stand. I think the jury took a note of that. If they were a real jury and not a fake jury, I think they took note of the fact that R. Kelly only had 5 witnesses, and that was the defense as well as the judges doing that. R. Kelly only had 5 witnesses. So I'm thinking, did Devereaux Canick get paid to throw the case? Is he in on it with the feds? Were the lawyers in on it with the feds to convict R. Kelly and give him poor representation in a case that should have been won? I'm so angry, y'all. They fucked this man up. They took his money and they didn't do his job. They didn't do the job again. They were acquitted in a case that could have been won. They didn't hammer home about him not being an enterprise. But then again, like I said, if the jury was paid for, then it wouldn't have mattered what they did, but at least put up a fight. Kanik didn't put up a fight. So was he the ops the whole time? Was Kanik the ops the whole time? Are these lawyers just taking R. Kelly's money to make a fool out of him and not really help him out of this situation? Is that what's going on? Oh my God, man. This really could be a mass conspiracy, man. All of his lawyers could have been in on the shit because they look so incompetent. You had Nicole getting up there talking about and you need to find him guilty in the opening statements. I mean, not guilty. Who the fuck makes a mistake like that? Who the fuck makes a statement like that? Unless they're being paid by the federal government, man. All the lawyers were in on it. This case was a winnable case. They threw the case on purpose and the jury was paid for. That has to be an explanation. It's no way if this was a legitimate jury that they would look at Geronda Pace and think that this girl is telling the truth. They couldn't look at Azriel and think that she was telling the truth. That's enough for reasonable doubt. I can't believe it, man. Everybody was in on this man's downfall. Lawyers in on it. The jury was fake. They were hired to convict R. Kelly. The judge was fake. She was hired to make sure that R. Kelly didn't get any of his motions through. They were hired to make sure he sits in jail. They were hired to make sure he fucking sits in jail. God bless R. Kelly, man. He'll get out of this. God, please let him get out of this, man. Everybody fuck this man over. Everybody fuck this man over, man. It can't end like this for him, man. It can't end like R. Kelly, the greatest, one of the biggest entertainers. You know, my favorite artist of all time, ending up in jail for the rest of his life behind some hoes. It can't end like this, man. Y'all, I'm devastated. When I tell you I cried so many times about it, you know, I wrote R. Kelly a couple of letters. I don't know if he's going to get the letters. I always write him, even if he never write me back, you know. Because, you know, I found out, you know, they say that he wasn't getting his mail. They weren't giving him his mail so he probably don't get most of the shit that we send anyway. They doing this man so wrong, man. Oh my fucking God. I get angry when I think about it. He really in jail for a bitch named Geronda Pace. And that slut Azriel Carrot. Man, y'all know how upset I am. This case was winnable. All that shit we sent to them attorneys. I was there emailing them a million times a day during the trial. Saying this is this, this is this, this is this. Put this in there. Ask her this, ask them that. So it's not like they didn't have help. The fans were helping them gather information. Sending them information. We were like little PIs. We were little private investigators. We went all over social media. We followed these people. We did everything we could as a collective to try to see R. Kelly go free. And you mean to tell me R. Kelly gave the lawyer $250,000 and told him to bring whatever witnesses he could? He only found 5 witnesses and no women. You couldn't find some models or somebody willing to lie and come up there and say, yeah, they had sex with R. Kelly. You needed about 10 women to come up there and say, I had sex with R. Kelly. 10 black women. Because they were trying to say R. Kelly targeted black women. So you needed 10 black women to come up there and say, R. Kelly never harmed me. R. Kelly treated me well. And you needed probably a couple of white women too to come up there and say, R. Kelly treated me well. And he also needed a couple of young males that were around R. Kelly to say, no, R. Kelly never tried none with me. He never forced me to have sex with any of his girlfriends. He never did none of that shit with me. To really cast the reasonable doubt. Man, the lawyers were in on it, y'all. They got him fucked up out here. They got R. Kelly fucked up out here. Man, the way that this is going, the way that this is going, I don't like it. Can't be this way for him, man. Man, what can we do? You know, I do all I can do on my end. I mean, I feel helpless. I feel like, what can I do? What else can I do to help R. Kelly? What else can we do, y'all? The lawyers fucked him up. We need a white lawyer. We need a white lawyer. We need a white lawyer who is strong in the Constitution to get up there and fight for R. Kelly. We need a white lawyer. We need to be in front of somebody else's courtroom. Because Judge Ann Donnelly was clearly paid for, man. And she's going to deny all of these motions, all of these post-trial motions that are getting ready to be filed. She's going to deny them. She denied everything when he was not convicted. So, you know, she's going to deny everything now that he's convicted. Man. God bless him. God bless R. Kelly, man. This is terrible. Terrible news. Free R. Kelly, free R. Kelly, free R. Kelly, and fuck the feds and fuck all these dirty lying whores and fuck anybody that don't like him. And fuck these sorry ass lawyers too for fucking this case up. There's no way this case shouldn't have been fucked up like it was. Unless they got paid. And they did probably get paid. I'm fucking pissed. Free R. Kelly.